So welcome everyone. My name's Lara Waldman, also known as the Abundance Activator, and it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you to my dear friend, Karina Ladet. Welcome, lovely Karina.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here today, like unusually even more excited.
Awesome. So let me introduce you to lovely Karina if you haven't met her already. So Karina is an intuitive channel who mentors conscious entrepreneurs to embrace their purpose. And today we're having a conversation about star seeds, which I'm really excited to talk about because I haven't actually spoken about this publicly with anyone before, I don't think. So I'm really happy that Karina is going to speak with us about this today. Woohoo! So Karina, could you please start by explaining to us as best as you can, what is a starseed? Let's start there.
Yes, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because we've been having many conversations about this topic over the years. And it's true that even in the spiritual communities, talking about star energies and star beings and ETs can be a little bit out there for a lot of people. And so for me, I'm really not an expert on this topic. I haven't read nothing about star seeds, but what I guess my definition of it is anyone who feels a strong connection to stars, constellations, maybe one star in particular, and they have this knowing that they are from somewhere else. And often I find that people who are star seeds, even if they don't call them that, because there are many names that we can use, and sometimes we don't even need to use a specific name either, but they really have that sense of not belonging here on earth, having like a deep longing to go home, often ever since they were children, a very strong connection to the stars, maybe even saying when they were kids, like to their parents, that they wanted to go home or that they were part of a different, like a certain star constellation or one star in particular. So that sense of maybe not belonging and feeling really different, and being able, I guess, to channel that energy as well, the star energies. And then for me, it's more about our lived experience of something, right? Exploring it and finding out what it means to us, and I guess finding our own journey with that as well. So for me, it's someone who is from a star. And I guess in some way we all are stardust, right? But some people feel the stronger connection to star energies, and it can feel like a piece is missing until they start to embrace that. So it's kind of like a yearning or a longing. And for me, at least, I wasn't really aware that I had it. But now that I've started to embrace that part more, it feels like such a deep homecoming, almost as if it's the answer to something I didn't know I was asking.
Beautiful. Well, I can relate to all of that very much. That feeling of not belonging, or I always actually did feel a bit like an alien, like I didn't quite fit in, or my point of view or the way that I saw things or felt things or experienced things didn't quite fit into mainstream society. It's almost like living a dream, or my awareness or point of view wasn't quite matching with the reality here. So it felt very lonely and homesick and lost, like I didn't quite belong. And it was a very painful time, very painful experience. It's been quite a long journey to get to this point. But so for people listening, Karina, love, you might have already said, but how can you identify if you're a starseed? Like, what are some of the ways that we can figure out if that's us? I imagine we'll just have a sense and knowing, but is there anything that you can help people to identify there?
I guess what we mentioned is that feeling of not belonging here, feeling disconnected from what's happening here on Earth, disconnected from other people, disconnected from like how things work here on Earth, conflicts between people. I almost feel like it's like being connected to another level of reality. as if we're reading something and everyone else is operating at a different level. And I don't mean as in hierarchical levels necessarily. It's kind of more like a radio station, right? Being connected to one frequency rather than another one. It can also be feeling disconnected from your body, or feeling like it feels heavy to be here as well. And sometimes, now that I've been working a lot with Starseeds and working a lot with star energies, I find that often I can kind of sense what star they are from, or what star constellation they're from, depending on their personalities, because every star kind of has its own energy, its own vibration. So sometimes it can be people who others perceive as a bit cold or distant, who may not want to, who aren't necessarily super emotional, almost as if they can see things from, I guess, a bit like a star, right? Seeing things from a higher perspective. And so feeling things, but maybe not really being down kind of in the mud and losing themselves completely to the human experience, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I relate to all of that.
Yeah.
So what would you say for Starseed some of the challenges are? Like, what are some of the challenges of being a starseed on this planet?
Oh, wow. I find, at least in my experience, it's finding like-minded people, because often it's that feeling of being alone and being the only one thinking in the way that they do. Feeling very different and feeling like they should conform, but they just can't do it. So instead of like numbing out or trying to fit into a box that obviously is not fitting very well, is to, I think it's really important to find other people who resonate with you as well, because then that really helps to feel at home here and to feel like you belong here and like you're not the only one. Because whenever I've done sessions with people, and maybe when they've connected for the first time consciously with their star family, is that they feel like they were left here on their own and that they don't have a family. And I find that quite often they are from a biological family that is quite dysfunctional. So that kind of just deepens that experience of, what am I doing here? I'm all alone and my family's not here. So for me, it's been really helpful to find other people and connect with other people, even if it's just a few who share this experience, because there are certain things that come up for us that maybe other people don't feel as strongly or in that way. So finding your family, soul family, star family, and then I guess connecting with your stars. Because when you do that, although it can still feel like you connect and then you kind of leave and you go back here, it's like you can bring that energy. Because I don't believe that we came here to feel disconnected our whole lives. And to have that maybe remembering or distant memory of where we came from, just so that we can experience pain our whole lives, but rather because it's a call from our souls to embody these energies and to bring them down into earth. So not necessarily spend all our time connecting with stars, but actually bringing that energy into the earth. So I guess it's a way to channel that light and channel the healing energies and the multidimensional energies first into ourselves, into our bodies, because that makes us feel at home in ourselves, kind of like picking up all the pieces and bringing that home and embodying all of who we are, and then also offering these energies to the earth, to the planet, to wherever we feel called to channel this light. It can be a creation, it can be a book or a program or a retreat or something we share with people we love. Like, it's really important to keep that energy flowing as well, so it doesn't get stuck and creates resistance. Especially now, I find, because things are changing so rapidly now, that I find for a lot of starseeds, it's really a wake-up call that it's now and we're actually needed. So it's important to do what we're here to do.
Absolutely. So there's one other thing that's coming to my mind to talk about is the unique sensitivity of star seeds as well. Would you say that they're more sensitive or more empathic or feel things more deeply, would you say?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, of course, there are many different kinds of people, and there's so many things that are to take into consideration, right? Because, of course, people who are really connected to maybe angels or spirit guides or nature spirits can also be super sensitive. But sometimes what I find with Starseed is that Starseeds is that there's great sense of commitment, and that can make it even harder to accept injustice or how things are evolving on Earth right now, or that kind of thing. And I guess that is one aspect of being really sensitive and being an empath as well, like that strong sense of like, we need to change things and we need to change them now, because it's like it becomes unbearable what we see and know is possible and what we're experiencing in our physical reality. So, but I don't. What do you think, Lara? Because
yeah, well, I think you're right. There's so many different energies that can. I feel like my experience of being a starseed is this sense of, just a really intense sensitivity, and it took part of my journey has been really understanding how my system works and how that energetic vibration works and how to find harmony with that on the planet. So I used to always think, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Like that was sort of this sense of feeling so weird and different. And it took me to, quite a long time to be like, oh no, what's right about me that I wasn't really like understanding, and then calling in actually like, people like you, Karina, and people in my life that were aligned. It's like, oh,
yeah.
I'm weird, but it's normal to be weird.
Yeah.
So that's been, that was part of my journey, is this, like I with the clients that I work with, well, seeming to sort of almost struggle with the frequency of this planet and the energy of this planet, and sort of finding a way to how to anchor that light, how to anchor that consciousness and that frequency, and find that sense of harmony and peace here. And that can be really, it could be an interesting journey.
Yes. And I just want to say something else too, power, because I find that one of the things that I find really particular about cosmic energies is that they're so expansive. I feel like I'm never going to fully grasp all of what they are, because they're so, like infinite, and it's got this really spacious, expansive, ever expanding kind of energy. And I find that energy really powerful and, like you said, super intense. And then how do we channel that into ourselves and into our lives and into maybe the work that we do? And especially as women, where we're not really supposed to be that powerful or radiant or have that kind of I don't know, almost goddess-like kind of energy in a really embodied and also super connected way. And that can be a little bit too much for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because how I would see it psychically is exactly that. So much energy. Is how do we funnel all of that into this vehicle of our bodies? It's like, oh my God, sort of like, bringing all of that and bringing it through this amazing vehicle.
Yes.
But it's possible. So will you tell us a little bit from your experience or point of view, why are star seeds here? Like, what is our job? What's our role? What's our purpose? You mentioned a little bit about sending energy to the earth, but I'm just wondering if you can expand on that a little bit.
So what I receive a lot is guidance. So for myself, for my clients, for people in that I'm in contact with. So teachings about how to, I guess, create the new earth and how to raise the consciousness on the planet. And a lot is to be so clear and grounded and fully present. So clearing out all our stuff so that we can be these vessels, right, for this light. And a lot of it is really embodying it and channeling it into the earth. And I do feel that is maybe the most important thing. That is the guidance I receive the most. Sometimes channeling into specific places on earth, connecting with sacred sites or places in nature. bringing healing and really raising the vibration and the consciousness. And for me, maybe that's the greatest one. Sometimes I'll receive guidance about, what's happening on the planet, but not as much. It's more about embodying and channeling. So yeah, and really, really doing that, not just thinking about it or sharing the message, but it's really a lot with embodiment and grounding these energies, because it's like with all these energies, right? We are the vessels. So I guess really embodying, being that link between Earth and cosmos. So for me, that's the biggest one. And then I know some people get specific guidance from specific star constellations maybe, and sometimes specific to our journeys as well. Like, so for me, I guess in my work, I'm being called to do certain things at certain times, and then I can accept or not. So sometimes it's also helping other people awaken that in them and helping other people to remember.
Yeah.
So I guess it's things that we need to do for ourselves and for the planet and the whole universe, and then that we can support others with as well. So really working together.
Beautiful. I've been seeing that a lot about the collaboration of all the like worker starseed energies, and not just starseeds, beyond that too, but this beautiful kind of weaving together of like co-creating, that we're not alone. I remember in the beginning of my journey feeling so alone, like I was somehow carrying the world all by myself, and then my inner guidance was started to say, no, Lara, there are like millions of people like you. You're like little dots of light all around the planet, and I was shown that it creates this those light points connect up and create like this beautiful energy grid, and that we're all like these anchors of light, which was very beautiful and very reassuring when I felt completely alone. So and now those people really started to show up in my life, like more and more and more. I'm like, oh my God, we're not alone at all.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful image, isn't it, to really feel how many, and it makes us we feel like there's hope, right? It's not just us, and that things are changing, and they're actually changing quite quickly. So yeah, not lose hope and stay connected to our purpose, I guess.
Yeah, those connections are really important. Well, they are for me anyway. Staying connected actually in every area within ourselves, and also with other aligned, like-minded people.
Yes, and another thing that I think that you do really well as well, Lara, is because what I found with the star energies is that we have to be really grounded in order to be able to channel these energies. And I think that's why for a long time I did not connect with cosmic energies consciously, because I was just not grounded enough, because these energies are kind of so big that if we're not grounded, it feels like they're going to explode our heads because it's so powerful. And that's something that I feel that you do really beautiful, because you do a lot of, like, you take really great care of your body, you exercise, you spend time in nature, you eat really well, like all those things, like caring for your body so they can hold that energy. And that's something that I've been feeling called to do more and more, to create even more space to take care of myself and to take care of my body, so that I can hold the energies and let them flow through me, apart from all the inner work, right? Clearing out all the stuff in the way, all the preparation.
Yeah, well, I do those things because actually I feel really bad if I don't. So for me, it's like self-care has now become, I want to feel good and I want to feel connected. And in that flow of, I guess it's my purpose, that sense of purpose, or really deep listening. I feel that I get, this maybe sounds kind of weird, I don't know, but I feel like my starseed kind of family guides me. So sometimes it's like, sometimes I'm not fully aware of what's happening on a bigger scale. So I get this messages around what's needed now and when. And that energy is very high frequency. So if I don't take care of my body, if I'm not kind of in a flow through my body, it can be really challenging to bring that through. So for me, it actually creates greater ease in my life. It creates greater flow and harmony for me, which makes me feel more at ease in my body. So in a way, I learned all that the hard way from really feeling very much the opposite of that. And I've learned like it's just become my normal now, but it's essential for me. I can't not. And if I ever drop the ball, it's like, oh, I don't get away with it for very long. So
yeah,
that's that. So now I guess I just want to feel good. I'm committed to feeling good and in that flow, which means a lot of self-care and a lot of connecting. Like I can't, we can't afford to be disconnected anymore. And I feel like this is really what we're being called into, this grounding, this energy is like reconnecting to nature, to that harmony, our harmonic connection with the earth.
Yeah, totally. It's so important as well, that connection to nature. I find that the more I connect with cosmic energies, the more I have to be present in my body, the more I have to go out in nature. And sometimes it's just lying on the earth or like leaning into a tree or something like that to, like you said, balance the energies. And then I feel great, and I feel much stronger, but in like more like oak tree strong rather than like fireworks strong, right?
Yeah. I love that. I do a lot of leaning up against trees to just like ground. I'm just gonna lean against this tree for a minute.
Yeah, like discreetly.
Yeah. So, Karina, do you have anything you'd like to share about your experience being a starseed? Is there anything you'd like to share from your experience in your life?
Oh, wow. Well, for me, it's been one of the greatest gifts that I've ever received, that connection to star energies. And honestly, I wasn't particularly looking for it. I try to be pretty grounded and down to earth in my wacky spirituality. But I really wasn't looking. But then it's like things were put in front of me, one step after the other. Like it started with one of my clients reaching out for a session, and I connected with a star being from Sirius. I wasn't doing it on purpose, and I had no idea what was going on at the time. This was like in 2013 or 12, maybe 2012 or 2013, and it was really powerful and clear and so different from when I was channeling my guides. And it really made me question kind of everything. Until my husband actually said, well, Karina, so you're freaking out because this is someone from another planet, but your guides are from where exactly? I was, channeling messages from my spirit guides, and that felt really normal. And so it just helped me really expand my vision of what was possible. And as soon as I started that journey, and it's kind of a continuing journey, and I'm sure it will continue forever. And I don't spend all of my time connecting with star energies, but whenever I've done it, and whenever I do it, it just expands so much, and it accelerates so much when it comes to my journey, and I guess my evolution as well as a soul in this body on this planet right now. And it's just been mind-blowing, and the synchronicities and the beautiful connections with people. And one of my best memories was connecting to a sacred site in Australia with my dear friend Belinda Pate McDonald and some other beautiful women. And it was just one of those moments where I felt like I in that moment I knew exactly who I was, but on a like the beginning of my being, who I was and why I'm here at this time. And I guess when we do this intuitive spiritual work, we kind of get glimpses of this all the time, right? We kind of know why we're here, we do our work, but it was one of those really, really deep, just a deep sense of remembering. And I feel like it just changed everything. And from that moment on, I feel like my life hasn't been quite the same. On the surface, you probably can't tell that much, but for me, it's just been there's so much more depth, and I guess a sense of just being right where I need to be. And that has been just amazing for everything, like my life, my relationships, my business, just puts everything in the right place. Beautiful. But yeah, there are like so many different examples and encounters, and yeah, it's just such a beautiful way to I guess just embody more of who we are.
Yeah, well said. And when we do, like, yeah, all these amazing experiences come from that, don't they? Like life feels better. It feels more,
Yeah.
more in flow. Yeah, so that's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's really cool to hear that. So thank you so much for sharing about this very interesting subject. It's been really enjoyable for me to be able to speak about this with you as well. And I know you've got a special invitation, and I'm wondering if you could take a minute to tell us about your upcoming Starseed retreat.
Yes, I'd love to. I'm so excited. I was not planning on doing anything, and then I could feel, you know, when a download's coming and you feel like there's all this energy. And then when I tuned in, it was like such a powerful kind of star transmission, lots of light flowing through, and it was super, my guidance was super clear, like create a Starseed activation online retreat, create a space for people to spend a day receiving and connecting themselves and receiving guidance, and also sharing this with others. So both for me and for the people who are signing up and who will sign up. So it's really like a homecoming, I feel, and creating a space to support people and grounding these energies, because they're really full on and they're really intense. And I find that if we don't take the time to receive them fully and to ground them and embody them, they can just kind of shake us up and we don't really know what's going on. And I find that the best way to give ourselves that time is to really commit, right? And to do it together. So I guess it's as much for myself as for my clients, because it's such a beautiful, beautiful time. And so we'll meet for like an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening for the Starseed activations. And I don't know exactly what we'll be doing because I never know before. I get glimpses of things and elements and things to like put on my altar and energies to bring in and things to do to prepare. So I'm kind of receiving the whole kind of initiation and preparation right now. So it's been really, really intense, and it's opened up a lot so far. And I know that happens for people when they sign up to these things too. It's like the moment you sign up, it's like the energy start to working because we say yes, right? And then so we meet for this day, and then the rest of the day, I really want people to take the time to listen, receive guidance, connect when they feel called themselves, spend time in nature, lie down, integrate, go for walks, do whatever they feel. So it's really like a sacred time together the whole day. And then as I connected in more, I was like, well, I really want to give more support to people, because sometimes it awakens really big things inside of us, or it clarifies things that we've been sensing but we didn't really know how to pinpoint. So I also really want to offer my support the whole time. So I'm opening a Facebook group for 2 weeks. I open it 1 week before the Starseed activation, and it's on the 21st of March, so on the equinox, and there's a full moon as well. So yeah, it's going to be intense until the week after. So we actually have 2 weeks together to kind of get to know each other and share our stories, because I find that even in the spiritual communities, a lot of people don't really talk openly about star seeds or star connections. So I want this to be a really sacred, loving space where we can go all in with all the star stuff. And yeah, I feel like it's just going to help people to have the time and space to let all those things they've been receiving over years to fall into place, so that they feel more at home in themselves and more welcome here on earth too, because this is also our home, right? Yeah, so that was so I'm really excited. And anyone who feels called, whether you are super familiar with starseed energy or star energies, or you're just feeling that tug, you know, your heart kind of pulling you in that direction, but you don't really know why or what it means, to join us, because I feel that that's the right way to know, right? If it's for us now or not, it's like we feel that call. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always send me an email or message me on Facebook, and I'm happy to answer any questions, because it's important to feel that it's the right time and that it's the right thing for you as well. So I trust that you always know what you need.
Beautiful. Thank you, Karina. And all the information about your retreat and how to stay in touch with Karina will be below this video. So thank you, beautiful Karina, for sharing all of this with us and for bringing in this work. And so much love to you, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Laura. It's such a gift, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you to everyone who's watching this. And yeah, thank you.
Lots of love.